Okay, so my name is Lulu and I like to read, like, a lot. Like, I'm in the middle of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so many that Goodreads literally doesn't show it, like, I can't swipe through all of them, so 6. And I thought, well, what if I try to just finish them all in one video? Which obviously didn't happen because there were so many books and they were like halfway started, like medio empezado, like I had started them but I hadn't really really continued them. So some of them were like 3% or like 50 pages in versus like the one that I had started like literally a year ago was like halfway through. So it's like I kind of had a variety, but most of them I had just started. So I hope you enjoy. I just kind of go through and talk about the books that I'm reading, and I'm trying something new. I'm trying the voiceovers. I don't know if this will work or not, but yeah. Hello, good evening. You can tell it's evening. It's unfortunately not the best lighting. I was crazy. I literally haven't read for I don't know how long, and I'm literally caught up with so much schoolwork, and we're nearing the end, and we're like 2 weeks before finals week. And then my friend invited me to Barnes & Noble and said, I'm thinking about reading, and I said, take me with you. That sounds like so much fun. So I took 3 books with me, and we browsed around, talked a lot about books that we liked and books that we didn't like, and then we went to Starbucks, and what would you guess? They have like a $5 book where if you buy something from the like little store that they have there, they give you the book for $5, and you won't believe it, that book was better than the movies by Lynn Painter. And I've heard Haley fam talk about this book a lot. I've seen people read the book and really enjoy it. I've seen people read the book and not enjoy it. And so I decided I would buy the book because I didn't feel like reading any of the books I did have on me, which is honestly classic. And so far I'm about 45 pages in. I'm on chapter 3 and I have thoroughly annotated the book. I'm honestly here and there with it so far. I'm liking it, but there's a lot of things I don't like. I don't really like the main character. I think she's kind of, I don't know, it's a little bit giving Disney core, but sometimes she says things and I'm like, that's actually so sad. But so far what I can gather, this is about a girl who's total romantic. She loves rom-coms. She thinks that her life is going to be rom-com. She always sets herself up for failure when she meets guys because she's like, this is going to be my rom-com. This has got to be my rom-com. This is going to be our meet cute. Or she might be like, this relationship won't even work because we didn't have a meet cute. She's kind of a little bit of that, what do I say? I feel like everybody has gone through that, right? Can't just have been me. I feel like it's so far it's pretty good. It's somewhat relatable. I already know how it's gonna play out in a way. I feel a little here and there about it, especially with certain high school things. She's like, I don't even want to go to prom. I don't have a date. What's the point of going to prom if I don't have a date? I'm like, and then she's like, I don't even want to go to prom because I don't have a date, and it would be so lame to go with my best friend. And I'm like, but I went to prom with my best friends, didn't know that was lame. And then she also talks about the senior prank and stuff, and it's just these are things that I never really got to experience, so I don't really relate to it as much, or if that. I don't know, and I feel like she takes a lot of things to heart, and there are a lot of things in here too where she's describing the way Wes is treating her. I guess he's the bad boy. I don't know. Wes treats her in a way where I'm like, is this friendly teasing, or is this bullying, or is this being mean? I can't even tell. And for the other girl, there's this other girl that's her arch nemesis or whatever, makes her life a living hell or something. She also sounds like a bully, but I can't really tell, because I feel like this narrator has been kind of a little exaggerated in a way, and not necessarily bad, but it's just I don't know, these are topics that I feel could be bullying, but they aren't quite portrayed that way, if that makes any sense. So I'm not so sure about that, but so far it's okay. I kind of know how it's gonna play out, and like I'm okay with it for now, but I just don't really see why it's got such a big hype if this is gonna be like your typical romance. Oh wait, Wes pointed out something really cool. Well, one of her friends from childhood came back. She's like, he is the love of my life. I literally just had a meet cute with him. This is gonna be how it's supposed to go. We are going to fall head over heels for each other, even though he's like low-key into another girl. I don't like that part. Here it is. Michael Young is fair game until I hear an official proposal, an official proclamation of him being with another girl, which I think is kind of gross, in my opinion. If you think somebody's seeing somebody, and everybody's heard about this person seeing somebody, like, save yourself then. No. Anyway, so she's trying to get invited to this party because she wants to have another meet cute with this guy, because that's how it always goes in the rom-coms. However, okay, here it is. So he says, every rom-com has two people who can't stand each other in the beginning, but eventually bang it out. Gross. And then he lists off a bunch of like rom-coms, which makes me think they're gonna be ended up together, because that has got to be foreshadowing for something that is very obviously gonna happen no matter what. So far it's okay. I think if you like predictable little romances, this is the book for you. I'm enjoying it, but I got these mixed feelings, because it's like, yes, but it's also they're in high school. I feel like I've grown out of that. Like, I don't really like high school romances, because they just kind of tend to like delve into topics that I don't really care about anymore. For example, prom, or the senior prank, or XYZ, that I don't really relate to in my life. And I don't think, like, there was a point where I was also going to prom, and I was also quote unquote doing the senior prank. I don't even remember what the senior prank for my senior high school was. Like, it's just kind of like this weird, like, okay, but at the same time it's like, I don't know, I'm kind of like, maybe it's because I'm not in high school anymore, but it's also kind of like, I don't know. Do you really feel like it's lame to go to prom with your friend? Is that like a thing? Because you don't have like a date? Like, neither does your friend though. Like, that's why your friend is going with you. And so I'm kind of like, girl, like, I don't know if I agree with that, you know, and I don't like that she can't really see past that. But she also did make some pretty good points about like how her mom's passed away. She doesn't really want to have this experience without her mom. But it's like, either way, if you would have like somebody to take you to prom or not, like, I don't know. So I have mixed feelings about the book. Oh, and then additionally, Lynn Painter, I don't know when she was born or anything, but sometimes she writes like the Gen Z slang where it's like questionable. Like, she writes about tea. She's like, oh my gosh, I got big tea. I would never say that. I would say I got tea. Like, I would just say tea, and then instead of spill it, well, I guess you would say that, but I would say spill. I would just say spill. You spill the tea. Anyway, that's besides the point. First, the update of my first couple chapters read. Good morning. I don't know if you can hear my brother drumming, but he's practicing right now, but I wanted to give my first update on the first book that I'm reading. As you can see, my friend placed it in a very nice paper. I don't know if that's focusing. It says, definitely just a normal book, the first one. So I'm reading Ice Planet Barbarians, and I'm annotating it, and we're going around with my friends and like just seeing what we think about it. I think it was trending. I don't know if it still is, but essentially, I'm like 10 pages in, really. I'm not that far in. I started it last night, and I don't know what to say about it. I feel like it's okay. There's a couple things where I'm like, what is going on? Why is that even happening? The first page is like her talking about how she like doesn't even believe in aliens, and that, you know, but now she's been abducted by them, like in a very like stereotypical fashion. Her name is Georgie, and up until yesterday, Georgie Carruthers, never believed in aliens. Oh sure, there are all kinds of possibilities out there in the universe, but if anyone would have told me that a little green men were hanging around the earth in flying saucers just waiting to abduct people, I would have told them they were crazy. But that was yesterday. Today's a very different story. And she kind of like describes how like she thought it was a dream, but most of her nightmares consist of work. And I'm like, okay, girl, that's so real. But like, there's just like, I don't know, not much thought on this book yet, but it's okay, I guess. I don't know, I'm gonna try finishing this book first because I want to give it to my friend before I come back, because I'm going back to school. Isn't that terrible? I'm back home for summer, but then I go back to school to work. Like, who does that? I love my 200 pesos bookmark. If you take a look at this, it was her bookmark and she left it in there for me. It's about $20. But yeah, I'll probably try reading more of this today and probably get about halfway through, hopefully. She read it in a couple days, but she said it was like a quick, easy read, so we'll see. And she has like annotations in here for me to go through, so I'm excited about that. But we'll see. I'll tell you what it's about when I get further in. So usually I don't tend to like annotate my books. I like don't tend to like buy books like I do, but I really do enjoy using the library and reading with audiobooks. But recently, now that I've been buying, I guess, quite a few books, or like reading my personal books, I'm like, I want to add my own personal taste. Like, that's the whole point of having my book collection. So I feel like annotating my books is a great way to do that. And even then, it's like I'm not really annotating, I'm more like commenting on what's happening and what's going on. I did the same thing for Better Than the Movies, I think I mentioned at the beginning, but especially with like the Ice Planet Barbarians, which I'm reading in the clip right now, I was like, no way, like I could totally just like annotate the book and we can go back and forth with my friend. Like, that actually sounds so much fun. But I feel like we could have picked a better book to do it, but I think it's still a lot of fun to like go through. And she's reading the second book right now, and when she's finished with that, she'll give it to me and then we'll swap back and forth, and I'm really excited. I really enjoy it. But yeah, there I am reading, so yay. I finished Ice Planet Barbarians. Low-key, I don't even know what to say. I think I stayed up very late reading this book for several nights. I have a lot of thoughts, and we're gonna go through them real quick. And my music is really loud. I don't know if I can like turn it down and not pause this video. No, I guess not. Okay, that's embarrassing. Let's go point by point, okay? I don't know what I've said already, so if I've said it already, my bad. Get some warm light in here. First things first, I let's talk about the plot. A girl gets abducted by a bunch of little green aliens, your stereotypical aliens. They crash the spaceship into this random ass planet, and now they're on this planet and they're like, what do we do now? We're stuck on this planet. It's really cold, it's really snowy, and they kind of compare it to like that one Hoth Star Wars planet from like episode 3 or 4, I guess. I don't know. I don't remember either. So as they're on this planet, they're like, oh, you, Georgie, the main character, are the only one that is like the least injured from our fall, so you're gonna be the one to explore, and we're gonna stay here and like freeze while you go explore. And she's like, yeah, I'll be the sacrificial lamb for the greater good, I guess, and I'll look for something that will keep us warm. So she goes out and she starts doing this. She almost immediately gets caught up in a trap, and this alien comes along and he's like, oh, I got myself something to eat, let's go. But immediately once he sees the the game, is that how you say it, in his trap, he was like, oh, I'm resonating for her. And you're like, what does resonating even mean? It means he purrs for her, and he's got like this thing in him that makes him purr. I felt like that was kind of a little peculiar, a little strange. I don't know, Anyway, so they kind of go along and kind of dilly-dally. She's like, no, take me back, I need to go to the planet. And he's like, no, I have to take you back to my tribe. And so yeah, they kind of go back and forth for a couple days, and then finally he like is like, okay, fine, if you're so insistent, let's just go. And wait, what happens? But they find like this other planet. They have like this whole language barrier, and honestly I thought that was kind of fun. I liked the language barrier. I thought it was funny to like kind of see them go back and forth about it. But after the language barrier, what was else? The way they got over the language barrier, she like downloaded the language into her brain via spaceship. I don't know, you could do that. I don't know. Either way, they go and they save the girls and yada yada, kind of your typical story, and whatever. However, this book is erotic, so there are several instances where they just like start going at it, which is, fine, whatever. But genuinely, I just don't think I'm the target audience for this. I didn't particularly like love it. I had fun reading it, but I didn't like enjoy it. I don't know. It felt like, I don't know. I'm not gonna give it a rating because of that, because okay, I'm gonna go on to the characters. Our two main characters are Georgie, and his name is Vectel, the alien. And Georgie's just so static, and half the time she's like, oh, I don't even know what to do. But this guy, he's great. He knows, he's like really good at, he's really good at it. So I kind of want to stay with him. Besides, he got me pregnant, so I have to stay with him. And then he like, I don't know. He calls her my mate, my sweet resonance. I don't know. My human. It's kind of weird. He is also kind of like, I feel like the whole time they're in their like Hawaii phase. Like there's no fault in either of them. And in the epilogue, I didn't have to read that. That was like kind of like he takes her out hunting because she wants to learn how to hunt, but he's like not excited about it because he knows that she is not going to be really good at it. And so, well, obviously she's not, because she's just a girl, but she's only been there for like a couple days. So overall, I don't know. And then as for the story, it was okay. Like there wasn't really, I don't really know. Like I was just so frustrated with Georgie. Like she was like, oh, we have to go save the girls, but at the same time, like, you just like kind of turn me on. You're really good at what you do. I feel like she's not insistent enough. She seems to kind of forget that they're there. And then once we are like reintroduced to the girls at the end of the book, I like didn't remember who was who, and like they found one of them dead, because it's like obviously you can't expect them to like not be dead after leaving them for like a week. I don't know. So she felt kind of like careless, and then on top of that, she wasn't relatable to me. Like I think she was like a blank slate character, so you can see yourself on her, but she is a little too blank slate. She didn't think about her family or friends back at home. She maybe mentioned them like once or twice, but like aside from that, she's like, yeah, I got really nothing to lose, so who cares anyway. I don't know, it's just not really quite my jam. And then Vectel, like I said, he has no qualms with her. Literally, she's just the perfect girl for him. He like doesn't see anything wrong with her. Personally, I don't think I would want Georgie as my friend. Additionally, I don't think I would want Bechtel as my friend. And those were the only two characters that we really explored throughout the book. So they're very static, and I just like kind of was bothered by that. But again, I just don't really think I was either really in the mood to read about static characters that don't really change and don't really seem to learn anything. And then, okay, the world building was really flat, but I think personally, I think it had a lot of potential. Like, I think if she, who's the author? I think Ruby Dixon kind of did have a vision, and she could have explored it more, and I would have liked it. I really like world building, and this book is kind of like sci-fi, and so I kind of expect some sort of like exploration of the planet that they're on. They do kind of explore it, but like it could have been explored a little more. Like, how do I explain this? Like, they have the different creatures of this planet. They only run into them a couple times, and so it was kind of like they're just kind of there, and you just kind of know of them. And then they don't really go out and explore, like, I don't know, the planet, which is fine. It's like, I guess I kind of get it. And then, what was another thing? The alien spaceship, I thought that was interesting. Like, where are these aliens coming from? Why did they put trackers in them? What were they actually using them for? Like, I have a lot of questions about that, but that never got answered because that wasn't the point of the book anyway. What else? Overall, I kind of thought that it had potential. It just kind of fell flat because that wasn't really the point of the book, I feel like. I don't know. What else? Okay, another thing that really bothered me were the aliens. I felt kind of weird. Okay, so I'm going through and I'm editing, and I noticed that I just like must have completely lost this middle clip where I explain why I don't like the aliens. But essentially it's like they're all mostly men, and there's like 3 or 4 alien women, and then there's like this group of like 6 or 7 human girls. So then all these alien men are like crazy. So essentially just like that whole premise made me really uncomfortable, and I didn't like it much. I didn't like it like at all. It made me, like I said, really, really uncomfortable reading about it. But it's just like, yeah, I don't know. I didn't particularly enjoy that. So, one of my favorite characters, I think she's Oklahoma Girl, had some sort of personality, and I kind of appreciated that. Like, she was like talking back at her. Like, she actually put Georgie in her place. Like, yeah, well, you were, you know, having fun with your alien. We were literally sitting here freezing our butts off and wondering if we're gonna make it till tomorrow. And that was kind of like, yeah, put her in perspective. Like, what do you mean? Like, I don't know. Overall, it's okay. I'm not gonna give it a rating because I just don't really think that I want to, and I don't really think I have the target audience for this. At least at the moment, I don't know. I might continue with the series though, probably. Next book I started reading, or I'm in the middle of, is Better Than the Movies by Lynn. I'm about halfway through. I'm enjoying it. There's nothing particularly wrong with it. I just don't really feel like, especially at the beginning, I wasn't really happy about reading like high school romance. Like, I feel like I've grown out of my YA phase, so it's just kind of like going back into it. It's kind of like a little strange for me. But overall, I kind of like the characters. I think the main character is kind of iffy. I think she's like kind of annoying sometimes, but whatever. She's a very big romantic, and she I don't know. I hope that she figures out who she likes. Sometimes she does seem to be so much in denial that it's kind of annoying. It's like, girl, just open your eyes. It's not that big a deal. But yeah, I'm annotating this for my friend, and then we're swapping books. She annotated Ice Barbarian for me, and then I annotated it, and then I might hand it off to another friend to annotate, and then I started off with this one. It's just taking me forever. I'm over halfway, but I'm hoping to finish it early next week or something. And then I'm reading an audiobook that I go through when I drive called LatinoLand. About Latinos or the Latin population in the US, and it's really interesting how they talk about certain things. For example, it kind of gave me a little history lesson about Quevedo de Cabeza, I think that's his name, that came into the US into the Americas first, and pretty much got stranded here. Most of his crew died. Only like, I think 11, maybe less, maybe like 3 or 4 of them survived overall, but he stayed here for like a period of like almost a decade. before Columbus came, and he really lived among the Native American people, and he learned from them, and I think at first he was kind of like a slave in a way, until he kind of showed like, oh, with just my basic Western medicine knowledge, I can really help you guys. And they called him not necessarily like a god, or like, but they were just impressed. He would go from tribe to tribe and talk about, I think it was Catholicism, because he was from Spain, and kind of help the Native American people. So that was really interesting to learn about colonialism before Columbus, because they said, and this kind of caught me off guard. They said, yeah, in America they don't teach you about this. And I was like, in America? Pretty sure my parents learned about this. I mean, and I'm like, oh, United States of America. I forget the Americas, just America, so that was my bad. But that's also really interesting. It's like 18 hours, or either it's 18 hours or I have 18 hours to go. It's really long though, but I'm enjoying it. I think it's a lot of fun. But yeah, I finished one book that I was in the middle of. Now I'm reading two, kind of in tandem, Better Than the Movies and LatinoLand. But I should still have like a million other books. So. Anyway, that's my update. It's kind of long, so... Okay, so I have a couple updates on the books that I actually have finally finished. Yesterday I finished Better Than the Movies by Lynn. I think I'd give it like 3.5 stars. The main character was really frustrating. My Goodreads review was like a million paragraphs. I wrote like a whole essay on this novel, but I thought it was like okay. It wasn't great, but it wasn't like terrible either. And like the whole premise of it was like just fine. Like it wasn't anything too crazy. But I think I had previously said that I didn't like that they were high schoolers. I feel like her obsession with prom, I just couldn't really relate with it because I never really had that obsession with like dances or the fact that it was my senior year or anything like that. But she does have like that connection with like her mother, so, and her mom not being there to see her grow and, you know, leave this different time of her life. So that was like, okay, I understand that, like it must be difficult to navigate that, and I think that Lynn Painter does that pretty well. But like not wanting to leave that part of your life behind because you feel like you'll leave that person behind. But I don't know, I feel like that was navigated in a pretty well manner. However, I didn't really like the main character. Liz was kind of like, at the beginning of the book, she had said, I'm not good at lying. I really don't lie ever because I'm a terrible liar. And proceeds to lie the entire book. I really wish that I had gotten to see the best friend a little more often. I feel like Jocelyn, or I think that's her name, Jocelyn, she calls her Joss. I feel like Joss would have been another great character to explore in that relationship, to kind of see how that works out, feel that out, but it just kind of felt flat in my opinion. I feel like there wasn't really much of, I wish there was more of that there, but there wasn't, so whatever. And then yeah, I didn't like that she was lying all the time. I feel like Wes definitely could have deserved better because she put him through a lot of different things and different that's just, she didn't even need them. I don't know what was up with that. Like she was just kind of like, oh yeah, I guess I kind of like you, but I still want this other guy, and then she was like in denial, but she like essentially pretended to like Wes her up for a bit just to like get with this other guy, this old guy that used to be her neighbor. Well, not old, but like this old neighbor that she used to be in love with in elementary school. He comes back and she's automatically in love with him again. I didn't really like that. I don't really like incel love, but I did like the last like 100 pages of this, and that's about it. The rest was like, I had to take like a 2-week break in between reading this to like really want to get back into it. Like the first bit was like, oh, this kind of like cheesy. The middle bit was like really boring, and then the last bit was like what I enjoyed. So 3 stars, nothing too crazy. Yeah, whatever. Second, I finally finished Mapping the Interior today. I went to Barnes & Noble with a friend, so I just kind of sat down and read this, and I got a lot of it done, as in I finished it. But I really couldn't tell you what it's about. It's just a novella written by Stephen Graham Jones, or Graham Jones, I don't know how you pronounce that. But essentially it kind of follows this little, not little, he's like a preteen teen boy that is like experiencing the loss of his father and kind of probably the loss of his culture, because his mom moves out of the Indian or Native American community, and so now he's like kind of away from his past, and he sees the ghost of his dad, and he's taking away, kind of like sucking the soul of his brother to come back to life. But this boy does not want that, so he goes through and he kind of like figures out who his dad was before he had passed away, who the man his mom had fallen in love with, and kind of explores that grief and that loss of identity and regaining it or gaining one of his own. I honestly didn't really understand it. There was events in the books where I was like, what just happened? So I don't really know what to rate it yet. So there's this little novella. I feel like it's a lot deeper than I felt like it had gone, but I just didn't understand it. There were like certain quotes that I had underlined though that I thought were pretty neat. Oh, he tells his mom that the dad came back. She says, "Your father never did laundry," she says finally. "I don't think he would come back from the afterlife to run a load of whites." I think anybody would think that when you come back from the dead, like he had, that you're either out to get whoever made you dead, or you're there because you missed your people, are there to help them somehow. The way it was turning out, it was that you could maybe come back, be what you'd always meant to be, but to do that, you had to latch on to your people and drink them dry, leave them husks. After that, you could walk off into your new life, your second chance, with no family to hold you back. It wasn't fair. I don't know, I really have to read on this. Oh, this was something that I thought was really interesting. When you grow up in an Indian country, the TV tells you how to be Indian, and it starts with bows and arrows and headbands. They're the exciting part of your heritage. They're also the things you can always find at the gift shop. So it's like molding himself into that. So, I don't know. I thought it was pretty interesting. Alright, so I finished those two. I gave my little mini summary. Okay, next I'm going to read Dance of Thieves, or Finish actually, by Mary E. Pearson. Dance of Thieves, or Finish actually. It looks about like halfway there. I started this last summer and I was like, oh, I gotta finish it before I go to Spain. And then I never did. I'm on chapter 31. All I can say is that this is supposed to be like fantasy enemies to lovers, and for me it felt more like an enemies to lovers insta-love. Yeah, that's about it. I don't really remember much. We'll see how I go about it after taking a year between the first half and the second half. I considered maybe like, I don't know, just starting it over, but I think I just want to keep reading it because I wasn't particularly enjoying it too much, so I'll just finish it and see what happens. Because I was expecting Enemies to Lovers, which is supposed to be like a slow burn and it's supposed to, you know, be worth the wait, but it just feels like they hit it off really well, and there's nothing wrong with it. It's just not Enemies to Lovers then, but that's my hot take on it. But I'll get reading on this pretty soon, so let's go. Honestly, now that I've had time to like think about it, it was enemies to lovers, but it's more like an enemies to lovers, like when you think Romeo and Juliet. So if you like Romeo and Juliet, I mean, you might like Dance of Thieves, because it kind of gives that same type of romance, that type of like you can't be together, but like you still love each other. Maybe, I don't know. But essentially, like it rained all of that week. Like, it rained a lot. Walking in the rain, literally. And then I didn't end up finishing this book in this video, which is kind of sad because I wanted to finish it because it was like, oh, I don't know, like literally I had been reading it for a year, but I didn't end up finishing it, and it was like, okay, maybe I'd give it like 3.5 stars. There were a couple quotes that were like nuggets of magic, but aside from that, it was like, alright. But thank you so much for watching. I'm sorry it was so long. I didn't expect this to be this long, but I hope you enjoyed, and have a good rest of your day. So, yeah. Bye!